You know, last week we talked about three things that you don't say to people who are grieving. This week we're going to look at three things that you do say to people who are grieving. This is 45 RPM. Thank you for watching. Well, folks, we're back. I can't believe you came back after last week, but it's good to have you back again. I'm so honored and blessed that people choose to hang out and watch this podcast with me. Thank you so much. Last week we did talk about three things that you do not say to people who are grieving. Three things that are just important that you don't do. This week we're going to talk about three things that you do. Three things that you do say, you do express to people who are hurting. Someone who has lost a loved one, a child, a mother, a father, a spouse. They're going through divorce. All of these things that cause grieving inside of us. What are some things that you say? The first thing that I think is very important for us to express to people that are grieving is just to let them know, I'm here. It's okay to look at that person, not have all the answers, and just say, you know what? I'm here. I've been known to tell people, if you want to talk, if you want to shout, if you want to holler and yell and scream and cry, I'm a great listener. You are welcome to come talk to me or call me or FaceTime me or whatever you need to do. Text me, whatever you need, just to vent, just to allow frustration out so that they're not bottling all up inside. Use me as a sounding board because I'm pretty good for that, you know. I may not have all the answers, but I'll be glad to listen. And I think it's important, especially after last week, that sometimes we know what not to say. So the first thing that I really think we need to knock down in this and nail down in our heart about things that we do say to grieving people is, folks, friend, I'm here. I'm here with you. You are not alone going through this because I'm with you, and so is God. We are all, there's three of us, me and you and God are here together, and we are here with you. You're not alone. The second thing that I think is super important to tell people who are grieving is a simple phrase. I love you. I love you. Do you know how many people are starving? How many people are just so parched and dry and craving love? Someone to just love them. Someone just to look at them and say, you know what? I care about you. I love you. You matter to me. And even though you're going through this stuff, and you know, we talked about last week not to say, I know how you feel. Even though we're going through this stuff and you're dealing with this stuff, I don't know how you feel, but I do know this. I love you, and you have someone on your side. I love you. I care about you. And you matter to me. So the first thing that you do say is, I'm here. You're not alone. The second thing is, I love you. And then the last thing you can say, the most important thing you can say to someone who is grieving is, nothing. Nothing. You know, it's okay to walk up to that person, put your arm on that person's shoulder, and say, absolutely nothing. I can't tell you in the times that I have been the lowest, the most desperate inside my heart, where I'm just torn apart and I'm crying out to God. I can't tell you what it means just to have someone come up and put their hand on my shoulder and let me know they're there. They don't have to say a word, not a stinking word. All they have to do is let me know that they're there and they love me and they care about me. In some time, and I've already talked a little bit about some of the things that we went through and some of the grief that I've experienced in my own life. I'll never forget this one lady. She was an elderly lady named Mary Alice Miles. Miss Mary Alice, we always called her Morales. Miss Mary Alice Miles, she would come up to me and she would put her arm on my back or her hand on my back, and she would not say a thing. When we were going through some of the most difficult times, even whenever I was leaving the church that she was in, I was going to a different church, and she knew what a hard thing this was for me to do. She came up to me and she put her hand on my shoulder and she didn't say anything. And I cannot tell you how powerful it was of a communication for her not to say a word. Just to let me know that she was there. You know, here's the thing about grieving people. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all of the scripture, all of the perfect remedy words for that person. All you have to do is be there. So if you can't say, I love you, if you can't say, I'm here with you, you matter to me, then don't say anything. Just let that person, by your presence, just let that person know that you're there. That could mean all the difference in the world. Now, we've gone through a couple of 3 things that you do say to grieving. We've gone through a couple of 3 things that you don't say to grieving. And I hope that you will use these things. If you didn't watch last week's podcast, go check it out. I hope that you will use these things to allow yourself, and that we, because I'm guilty of this too, we will allow these things to help us be a better tool of God, a better touch of God to people around us as we try to go out into the world and we give them heaven.